Play something. Stop. Yeah. Stop. Just play by the gun.
Can you guys hear the piano back there? Yeah. Yes.
I got a single you guys too.
You know that guy. Brendan found out. He helped at the band I hired, country dances. Yeah, and he's the sound guy at the cathedral.
Oh, good.
On South Hill. No, not Anthony.
I'm getting really close to the studio.
Went out of yeah. Talking to the beggars up there? I know. Oh, it's like every time. I mean, we go over this and over this and over this. And there's supposed to be a sound, there's supposed to be a space magnet that keeps in a text. It's the same old story. Yeah.
Morning, we are the Sfsf Scottish Country Dancers. We enjoy being part of these games. We have a long history with them, back probably almost at the beginning. We're a small but enthusiastic group with a range of age, as you'll see, and experience. And we all are enthusiastic about Scottish country dancing. Scottish country dancing has been around for centuries. It's the social dance of Scotland. Not like the Highland. If you're familiar with the Highland, there's a lot more bouncing. This is kinder to our stately figure. It's enjoyed all around the world, and it's been around for centuries, which means there are lots and lots of dances to choose from. So this year, I did something a little different. Normally, I just tell the dancers what we're going to dance. And this year I suggested that they tell me their favorite dances. And I still got to choose because I picked the ones for the program that I like best or the ones they like best. So that worked out. Oh, and there's a Ross. And our music today is provided by the awesome San Francisco Scottish Fiddlers. Yeah. By popular demand. Dance group everywhere will be totally envious because normally for a dance group there'll be 2 to 5 players and we have about, I think, 25. So eat your heart out, Seattle. Enjoy their sound as we dance. So our first dance is one of the most popular Scottish country dances. It has been on the top 30 most frequent dances, appearing on dance programs for decades. And Peter, my husband, will talk a little bit about the story behind it.
Good morning. We're going to be doing Bratach Banner, and it actually comes from a Gaelic song. And if you were doing it in Gaelic, I'm told it should be Bratach Banner. And if you want to know more about Gaelic, Jessica Bruner in the Heritage tent will be talking about Gaelic this afternoon, and we'll be there to talk about Gaelic anytime you want to talk about it. So, the Bratach Banner translates to "of the white flag." So, anybody here from Clan Mackay? Do we have any Mackays? Well, it is thought that the white flag is the white flag of the Mackays. And it was taken by them into battle. And the Mackays occupied the entire north end of the Scottish mainland, the area now called Sutherland. And if you'd like to see what that looks like in the photo exhibition, there is a whole piece on Sutherland and that area, including the home of Lord Ray, who is the clan chief of Clan Mackay. Second thing which is interesting about this dance is it's by a gentleman by the name of John Drury. And anybody who knows Scottish country dancing knows that name sort of strikes fear into everybody's breast, because Scottish dancing is made up of various patterns and he puts them together in very interesting ways. And this one is one of the more interesting ways. The last thing I want to say is we had one of our dance teachers quite a few years ago. She passed away. And when she passed, she asked in her memorial service that the Scottish country dancers perform Bratic Banner in her memory. So that was her favourite dance, and we obviously had to do it well, and I hope we'll do it well today.
I think Ruth would have liked that. And it was Ruth is the lady who requested this for her shortbread competition. Is also in her honor. Thank you. Yeah, she was our shortbread queen, and so when she passed, we renamed the shortbread contest. So that is being held, the judging I think is held at 2 o'clock in the Harper's tent. Okay, so our next dance is a more recent dance. It's a newer jig dating back to about 2015. And it's called Chased Lovers, and it's a fun play on word with a chased, with a D, C-H-A-S-E-D, being pursued or followed, and chased, being virtuous and without any sexual nature or intention. And, ooh, I got to say sex in dance, country dancing. Anyway, that doesn't happen. You will see that in this dance, the dancing couple do not touch each other for the whole dance, with none of the usual giving of hands for turning or crossing. And the rest of the dancers have no such restrictions. They get to use their hands, but without getting handsy, of course. So, Chased Lovers, a jig.
One, two, three. Oh, Anya. Anya. Number one. Mike one. Mike one.
Collection of heathers. Is that better? Yeah. It's called the Cherry Bank Gardens, which is the name of our next dance. And the gardens were created in 1984 and hold Europe's largest collection of heathers, probably about 300 species. And who knew there was that much heather? I always think it's purple or white, but apparently there are a lot more. Sadly, these gardens are no longer open to the public. The site was sold because of lack of funding, but the energy company that bought the land pledged to maintain the gardens. So the other day I checked out to see on YouTube what I could find, and there they are. This was in 2016. The heather's flourishing. There's even gardeners to work with it. So that's good, and hopefully that is still the case. And if you want to see for yourself, just search for Cherry Bank Gardens on YouTube. And of course, there are many other gardens in Scotland if you ever do a visit there. Don't miss the Edinburgh Botanical Gardens. They are a really wonderful collection of all sorts of plants. And if you want to see the heather in Scotland, best time of year apparently is between late July and early September when it's at its best. Now this dance is a change of pace. It's a slow and elegant kind of strathspey and a uniquely Scottish dance form. Just think stately and courtly. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Firstly, it's our group's mission to share the heritage and culture of Scotland. And secondly, and the dancers may think this one more important, it gives them a chance to catch the breath between dances. Because as you can see, it's quite a workout. It's a good cardio workout. Right, ready for our next dance. The next dance is the Clansman. It's a reel, and it includes an interesting formation called a targe. Someone came up with this formation more recently. The older dancers just have very simple up and down turn kind of formations, but nowadays everyone likes inventing a new shape, as it were. And they will be dancing around each other quite tightly. And it's called, the formation is a targe. And a targe itself is a round shield between 18 to 21 years, sorry, I'm thinking of like drinking age or something, in diameter, and it's the last type of European shield to be used actively in battle. So. Right, Clansmen in Scotland seem to get involved in warfare at the drop of a hat for various reasons, from land disputes, cattle raiding, political rivalries, and loyalty to warring clan chiefs. And they could be pretty ruthless. And legend has it that victorious warriors or clansmen would dance on their charges after winning battles. And the targe generally had a sharp spike right in the middle of it, sticking up several inches, so they had to be pretty careful where they placed their feet. So dancing on the charge required agility, nimble footwork, and strength to avoid that spike, and making it a feat of both physical and celebration of victory. And one of the oldest Highland dances you may be familiar with, the Highland Fling, is said to have been inspired by these warrior dances. Now our next dance, the Clansman, is a Scottish country dance version of dancing on a targe, and since ours is imaginary, we have a lot more leeway as to where we put the feet.
building, so it amplifies.
That very expensive tray comes with a tank.
Upstairs is one of the oldest ones in the dance. It goes back to the 1750s. It's very popular. It appears in all sorts of ball programs, and it's, as I said before, being an older one, it has very short series of, I guess, we call them formations. It doesn't mean much to you, but formations is what we call them. We don't have a really good source story for this dance title, and it sounds like it should be to do with gardens, but apparently not so much. I've read that this is what the locals called the stinky sewage littering Edinburgh's unpaved streets. Walking the streets could be hazardous if there wasn't indoor plumbing, as you can imagine, especially when the clock tower of St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh struck 10 each night. That was the signal that all the people on the upper stories, they were tenement buildings going up as much as 14 stories apparently. That's when they yelled "Gardez-lou," which is French for "watch out for the water," and it wasn't really water, as chamber pots were dumped into the streets. Until the Nastiness Act, which is a really good sounding name, Nastiness Act, in 1745 restricted this disposal to between 10 and 7, but before that it could happen anytime, and the shout didn't give you a lot of warning. But there's such a nasty picture. I prefer to go with a different suggestion I came across. It was intended as a compliment to the young ladies who came to Edinburgh to attend the dancing schools to learn all the latest dances. I'll go with that. Oh, sorry. Can we switch? Sure, we can switch. I just did switch.
Go to flowers. Quickly. Flowers.
Yeah. Sorry, I speak
Flowers of Edinburgh, everybody.
Okay, I've lost it.
It's the next one.
The next one?
I'm glad you announced.
She announced the wrong dance. Flowers. Just go to flowers. Right
See, I just totally messed up. It's the heat. What can I say? for that confusion, we are now doing Curry Mountain. I just kind of turned the page and moved this on too fast. This dance is related to Canada, our neighbour. It's part of a collection of jigs, reels and Sfsf created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the founding of the province of New Brunswick in Canada, which was in 1784. The mountain of the title is an extinct volcano, but nowadays at around 300 feet or 87 meters in Canada, it doesn't exactly tower over the city of Fredericton, but it does have some great walking trails. The deviser of the dance was herself a Fredericton dancer, so I think she was probably depicting all the walking trails on the Curry Mountain. And Curry itself is a good Scottish name, and the mountain was named after the owners who donated the land, the mountain or the hill, to the University of New Brunswick. And this mini mountain is not to be confused with Mount Curry, a dramatic peak on the other side of the country in British Columbia, in the Coast Mountain range. And this is a real mountain with a respectable height of 8,501 feet, or 346 meters in Canada. Okay, Curry Mountain. My poor husband who's going to introduce the next dancer. Next, because he wasn't dancing yet, so then he wouldn't get from the last dance. Sorry.
Yeah, no one?
Anyway, last dance.
Yeah, Katie Millen.
Peter will tell you a bit about how he got his name.
We're getting ready for more chimps. It's not happening now.
Jamie Mill is the name of the next house. And it stands for John Bannerman Mill. Don't know quite why the Bannerman came up, except Campbell Bannerman did become the Prime Minister of Great Britain. Anyway, he was a mill boy who sort of made good and ended up doing a whole raft of cinemas in the Dundee area of Scotland. Apparently when he was young, he used to start working in the mill about 5:30, work through till 6 p.m. Then he would do violin lessons he was teaching from 6 till 8, and then 8 till midnight would be doing dances at a local dance scene, so he was a busy boy. Anyway, as I say, he became a proprietor of cinemas, and this dance is one of the few in Scottish dancing, and there are quite a few. Most of them are just sort of abstract patterns. This one actually tells a story. And the story is that the first couple, or people on the left, they are auditioning for a theatre role or cinema role. So when they are selected, they then become the stars of the show. So they're dancing in the middle, while the screen on the outside is marking the edge of the silver screen. So with that, J.B. Mill.
That we would like to let you have a go at it. So this afternoon at 3 o'clock at the dance stage, we're doing public participation dances. With easy dances that everyone can do. And if you can't make it there because there is so much other cool stuff to see today, you can join us on Thursday nights in the Church Hall of the Greek Orthodox Church at 6:30. And if you want to know more, just talk to one of us. We have some little handouts, and we can also direct you to our site on the website. Oh, we can tell you all about it. Anyway, hope to see some of you there at 3 o'clock. And a big thank you to our musicians. Dancing to live music just has a little extra bounce in the dancer's step, so it's always lovely to have live musicians. And this group, our pair will be performing here on this stage again at 2 p.m. so you can enjoy more of their music. And as we leave now, you get to enjoy a little more music as they will play us off, and a little more for your pleasure. Thank you.
Flowers, Spook, Willa.
2, 2, 3.
Yeah, something. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you. Nice job.
We sounded good. We sounded good.
We've had good practice.
Thank you for that awesome set of tunes. Didn't you love that last set with the drum featured there?
Yes, I did.
More of that at 2 o'clock and we clear the stage so that they can set up for the opening ceremonies coming up next at 12.
Yeah.